Let's start the recording. And hello and welcome. It is Marilyn Devonish here from transformationstm.com, and we have a very special edition of Tarot Tuesday. So I've had a few technical issues in terms of not being able to stream live directly to Facebook. So I thought I'd be a little bit creative and stream from my webinar platform into Facebook, and also just making sure that I've got the recording for the membership group as well. And because I had to go to the trouble of setting up a webinar, I thought I would also invite you along as guests if you wanted to join me and see what it's all about. So I'm just going to check that my control panel, so I've enabled chat, Q&A. Yeah, I think we're good to go actually. Okay. All right, so let me have some water while that is just kicking itself into gear. So today is Tarot Tuesday. Now, this is typically something that I do for my membership group, do it every single month, but we do it in a private Facebook group, which means the rest of the world don't get to see it. But as I've already said, Facebook is not playing ball. And so I thought it would be fun to open this one up and kind of let you all join me. So in terms of the way it works, this is very last minute. I literally sent the e-newsletter out. I finished it at 6:29 and it was scheduled to go out at 6:30. That's how last minute it was. So thank you so much for those of you who registered, who were able to join me. I appreciate it. And just to give you an overview of what we're going to be doing in this webinar. So I do the Tarot Tuesday. Oh God, it's been probably going to be coming up to 3 years now. So I do them every single month, first Tuesday of the month. And anyone who would like a reading, they just put a yes in the Facebook thread, and then I'll do an individual reading for them. I use a variety of decks. We'll talk about that in a bit. So anything from the Romance deck, the Life Purpose, Tarot, the David Bowie deck, the Abundance deck, Goddess, even Banksy. If you look behind me on the shelf, you can see some of the cards stacked up there. And then the recordings are added to the online kind of knowledge web portal, as well as being available in the Facebook Live, in the Facebook group. And the decks that we use are wide and varied. So this just gives you a little flavor of, and that's the Banksy cards. I wasn't joking. That was a beautiful gift from Kate. So cards are wide and varied, but you will know if you are in the membership group and watching this webinar, you will know that the readings are always spot on, regardless of what deck I use. And there'll be times I will pull a deck that's got, let's say, nothing to do with health, and that person will get the card with regards to health, and that was exactly what was going on in their life at the time. I remember when I first started, I think it was the very first Tarot Tuesday, I pulled a card from someone, and I was going on about organic vegetables. And I was like, I don't know why I'm going on about this. She then comes home, wasn't there for the live session, watched the recording, says, oh my God, you're not gonna believe it. I was on my way home and I decided to do a detour and get some organic vegetables. I'd also said during her reading that if there was a health challenge, and I had no idea if there was, but I said if there was a health challenge, it would be a good idea for her to get a second opinion. She was just on her way home from an appointment, a medical appointment, and she had decided that day that she was going to get a second opinion. And so it's that crazy, and I'll share with you a couple of other little examples like that in a bit. But you know, it doesn't matter on the deck. And we even did a play with some actual playing cards from the Gypsy Tarot deck last month, because I'm always joking you can read with playing cards, and we actually did. You can see that on the screen now. So that's a little kind of how we do the Tarot Tuesdays. What I might do at the end of this webinar as well is throw in a bit of Huna. That's H-U-N-A for those who haven't come across it before, because Huna is just such a lovely energy and a really, really nice way to shift things along and get the energy moving as we move into the final quarter of this year, for those of you who are watching this in real time. So we'll maybe do a bit of that at the end. And the whole thing about, because we've got these themes, I'll run you through those themes before we get started for those who are watching, let's say on Facebook or on YouTube, who are not members. And we have 7 themes that run throughout the month. So the stuff I do during the month and the annual workshop, which is free for lifetime members, is a way of bringing those themes to life. And so Tarot Tuesday is one of the themes. And the way that I bring it to life is I do the live readings. And in terms of one of the things I did last year, actually it was September, so it's just over a year ago now, September last year, I was consistently amazed by the messages I'd get in the group after tarot reading, Tarot Tuesday, with people going, oh my God, that's amazing, that's spot on, that's just what I was talking about, that's just what I've done. So I actually went back, because I don't rewatch the recording, so oftentimes I'll get messages from people saying, oh my God, your Tarot Tuesday reading was amazing, and then they'll say something and I'm like, I've got no idea what they're talking about, because I do not remember what the reading was. I say it and it comes out of my mouth and it's gone. So they'll be very specific, like, oh my God, that thing you said about my boss, and you said da 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 da. And we have the same for Think Tank Thursday as well, where it's a consultancy style where people can just send their questions in, and I actually have to go back and see what I was said, or if I want to know what I said, I have to listen to the recording, which I very rarely do. I just go, oh man, that's brilliant, and move on. But I decided, because I'm like, this is just gone beyond. There was never any random chance to it anyway, but it just got to the stage where it was just so crazy that I actually went back. I sat and I listened to the Tarot Tuesday sessions, and then I wrote down exactly what I said, and then I read the feedback from people once they'd been in and they'd actually listened to the replay recording, because often people aren't joining us live, and it was pretty much word for word some of the times. And so what I've done with that one, if you want to read the blog at some stage, it's the kind of spot on power of tarot. Actually, for those of you who are in the webinar room, I'm going to find that link. 1 second. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to drop that link into the webinar room. So that's in the open chat. That's in the open chat. Actually, while I'm about it, let me just see if I could also, by the powers of technology, let me run to, there we go. So I put that into the Facebook thread as well. If you want to read that blog for yourself, and I've done side by side, I've shown you the card that I pulled. I went back and listened to the recording. I wrote what I said from the transcript, and then I've pulled word for word what people posted in the groups, just to give you a sense and a flavor of how that works. So that's a bit of the background to it. For those of you who are watching this and never met me before, my name is Marilyn Devonish. I'm a coach and trainer and public speaker, keynote speaker. I wasn't always that way. I started off very traditionally. I did a business studies degree, postgraduate marketing diploma with the Chartered Institute of Marketing. I was studying to be an accountant. I was very quiet and very shy. Hence, that's how I ended up on a personal development training. And the rest, as they say, is history. I was not the least bit impressed. I actually signed up for what I thought was the wrong course, and I tried to get a refund. They wouldn't give me a refund. Thank God. I can't imagine what my life would be like now if I hadn't done it. And that was in October 2000. So we're pretty much now, happy anniversary to me. We're 19 years this month since I walked through those doors. And over the years, I've added a number of different modalities. I've NLP, hypnosis, timeline therapy. So I went from being a complete skeptic to being a master practitioner and trainer in NLP, hypnosis, and timeline therapy. Was so blown away with the power of Huna that I've been over to Hawaii a couple of times to study. And in terms of other modalities, as you can see on the screen, if you're watching rather than listening, it's things like EFT, DNA theta healing, future life regression, past life regression, soul plan reading, angel tarot, archetypal profiling, photo reading, and running parallel to that, also started working in 2003 as a management consultant and Prince 2 project manager, working in central and local government. So as a change management specialist, and also doing leadership development training, away days, rolling out executive coaching programs. So very, very different to having someone up above their timeline, but nonetheless, at the heart of it all is about working with human beings and helping them to change and transform in some way. And I also used to be absolutely terrified of public speaking, because I know that when people, let's say, look at that picture, the little pink dot on stage is me, and there are thousands of people in that audience. I distinctly remember that day. It was absolutely amazing. And I know when I'm speaking, people are like, oh yeah, it's all right for you. But just to put that into context, that what you're seeing on the screen now was my character profile right up until the age of 32. So one of the reasons I'm passionate about personal development is I know what a change and what an impact it can have on your entire life. because to go from very quiet, shy, lacking in confidence, very low self-esteem to what I do now is a complete change and turnaround. So that's a little bit of background about myself and kind of how I came to be, doing what I'm doing. And I also have been writing for the last, gosh, what will it be now? We're 2019 at the moment, aren't we? So that's probably going to be a good 15 years, if not longer, probably about 16, 17 actually, writing for newspapers and magazines. I started off doing stuff around emotional health and well-being. And then when I got into the consultancy and the business side, also write for business publications. I still do that today. And spent, gosh, about 7 years. I had a monthly column, problem page, agony aunt page for Spirit and Destiny magazine, and was also one of the media experts for Psychology's magazine. So, and I still, as I said, I still do that today. I love it. And the first book I co-authored with a few people you might have heard of, depending on what field you're in, Tony Robbins, the lovely now Dr. Paul Sheely, who is the creator of photo reading, something else which absolutely changed my life, the late Dr. Wayne Dyer, Chun-Yi Lin, who created Spring Forest Qigong, and for me, business guru Brian Tracy. And that was all about how to kind of wake up and how to transform. Actually, they're on the shelf behind me. You can't see them probably. No, they're just out of shot. They're just beyond the photo reading books. But what I will do maybe is I'm going to cycle back once we finish this webinar. I will cycle back. I'll have a look in the Facebook thread to see if there are any questions. And then whoever's submitted their favorite question, I'll just show you, just so you know it's a real book rather than a PDF. Let me just grab one. So this is the book. This is the book. It's a real book. Because I know sometimes, people send you a PDF, but whoever, I'll choose my favorite question. And then what I'll do is I'll post you a copy of the book. So stay tuned until the end and I will choose and let you know who that is. So that's a little bit of a potted summary about me, who I am and what I do. And this, just to give you some context in terms of where Tarot Tuesday sits and why it exists. These are the membership group things. We start the month with Motivation Monday, so something to get you fired up and get you moving and inspired. We've got Tarot Tuesday, which is today, so you're going to experience what that is all about in its entirety in a few minutes. We've got Wisdom Wednesday, where I'm really delving back through the ages, everything from Aristotle and Socrates right through to Andy Warhol, David Bowie, and Jennifer Lopez, Maya Angelou, Joan of Arc. I mean, seriously, we've run the complete gamut of them. So the point of that is kind of bringing ancient wisdom to life. So I create coaching exercises around that and show people practical ways that they can take this incredible wisdom and bring it to life in their daily life. We've got Think Tank Thursday, which is similar to Tarot Tuesday in that I do a Facebook Live and people can just questions about anything they like. We've done everything from workplace bullying, how to get yourself, focused, right through to, some of the more unusual ones, how to change the energy and dynamic when you've been given a gift by someone you don't like, for example. So we've had, everything you can imagine, and we do that every single month. So there are probably hundreds of questions that I've had. And actually, because Facebook is playing up, what I'm probably going to do with this Think Tank Thursday, next one coming up, is I'm going to open it up again. And what I will also do is take a couple of questions from you guys who are not in the membership group. So if you have a question for Think Tank Thursday, if you're in the webinar room, you can put that in the chat or the Q&A. Just so you know, the chat is open. Everybody can see that. I think that's how I've set it up. Yeah, I have. The chat is open. Everybody can see that. But if you put something in Q&A, only I can see that. So that comes to me privately. So for those of you in the webinar room, you can put your questions in there. We have Focus Friday, which we do at the end of the month, to do a recap and a refresh. Plus, we're looking at what's coming up. Sharing Saturday, that's where the free one-day workshop, which we ran a couple of weeks ago here in, well, today wasn't quite so sunny Watford. That's where I share with people new stuff I've discovered. So let's say when I found the belly button healing wand, you guys were the first people to know. And quite frankly, you still are, because I don't really talk about it that much. So anything new that I've discovered that I want to share, or we might do a moon meditation if it's that time of the month, or teleseminars, webinars, the Access Abundance series, all of that comes under the heading of Sharing Saturday. And also if there are great things that the members want to share that they're doing. And then we have Soul Food Sunday, which is something to kind of touch the soul. So that's a potted summary of what we do. If you're not a member and you would like to join us, the option is you can join on a monthly basis. So that can be completely ad hoc, and regardless of when you join, you will always get to experience all 7 of those themes. Or you can join on an annual basis, or you can become a lifetime member. So you've got 3 options there. I know when I launched the lifetime membership piece, somebody was like, oh my God, that's like a gift from heaven, because it's really lovely just to be able to sort it out and not ever have to think about it again. So that's very cool. What I'm going to do is just check. Yeah, geez, we're really multitasking today, because I've also put the audio on just so we can just hit straight into the I just want to check it's working. Cool. So let me delete that. Yes, just so when I start the readings, I can just hit straight into the audio. For people who aren't here, they might not want to watch the intro because they know all about the membership group already and how fabulous it is. And you will find, so when we've done, every time we do something in the group, it then goes not just in Facebook, but it also goes into the Knowledge Web portal. So for those of you who have not logged in for a while, this is where it is. So all of the themes are segmented. So you literally just click on the button you want. That's what you see. So this is, for example, Wisdom Wednesday, and as we're very, even the Charlie Chaplin one was actually they're all mind blowing, but Charlie Chaplin one was just incredible. So then you'll have access to all of the information. So the link for those of you who are members, if you need a reminder, it's www.marilyndevonish.kivio.com/member. So that's where you go if you're a member and you want to access any of the previous stuff that we've done, the essays, the written articles, the coaching exercises, the videos, it's all in there. And for those of you who would like to know more about the membership group, it's www.marilynsmembershipgroup.eventbrite.com. So that's where Tarot Tuesday sits. So let's kick into it and let's get started. So right, let me hit the recording. So we have the reading as well. Making the most of this session. Number 1, you want to give yourself permission to receive the information. So we've already done that in the membership group, because you kind of saying, yes, I like a reading. But for those of you maybe watching, just kind of give yourself permission just to be open to whatever is relevant to you. If it's not, allow it to pass you by. The same will be with the Huna energy that we'll do at the end. Set your purpose and intention. We're going to talk about that in a few moments. And I just say be open and go with the flow, because actually it's not even, a lot of the times what I say resonates with people like straight away, straight out the gate. There will be the odd time where people go, oh, like one of my clients, for example, apparently I'd said to her in a reading, because she booked a kind of a Huna and Access session as well, and we'd done the soul plan reading and the archetype stuff, and apparently I'd said to her during one of those readings, you're going to be offered 2 jobs and you're going to have to choose. I said that, I think, coming up to a year before, she was made redundant, so took redundancy and got to the end of that time, decided she wanted to get back into work. She went for an interview that day, was offered the job, great. She's on her way home from the interview. She meets an old work colleague who says, hey, what are you doing here? She said, oh, I've just been for an interview. She said, oh my God, I didn't know you're in the job market. Offered her a job straight away. And she said it was word for word like I'd said it, where she's going to be offered the 2 jobs in one day. There's going to be like this, they all want her and she's going to have to choose. That's exactly how it played out. So when I say be open and go with the flow, there might be things that I say during the reading, and they will resonate when they happen. And it's often so, glorious technicolor that you can't help but go, oh my God, I've heard this before. So just be open. So what is your intention for this webinar, particularly for the, I know you guys who are in the membership, you want your reading, and I'm getting to that, don't worry. But for those of you who are new, what's your intention? It might be you are curious, you wanted maybe to find out more about tarot, you wanted to see a bit about what happens within the membership group, as these are always in the private group, or it might be you actually want some insight for the month ahead. So if you're in the webinar, type that into the chat. If you're on Facebook, type that into the thread, and I'm going to cycle back and check those later. And also just start thinking about what would you most like to gain or take away from this virtual gathering. And one of the reasons why it's important to start with that, you're going to wake up your brain, you're going to wake up your neurology. And when I say something which is in alignment with what would help you, your brain and your neurology will wake up and take that on board. So just start thinking about your intention for being here. One of the things I always have on my workshops, this is one of my favorite sayings from Huna: think not that all wisdom is in your school. I'm going to show you some stuff that I think is really cool. And if it resonates, that's great. If it doesn't, that's great too, because there are going to be other ways that you can do this. So it's not the be all and end all. There are going to be other things that you can do, other ways that you can get to the same place. So just be open as well that this is not the be all and end all, and it's not prescriptive either. Right, okay, so we have brilliant. So insight and advice from Tarot with regards to making changes this month. Cool, thank you very much. Fabulous. So let's get down to business and let's start with the readings. Now, because I'm doing this publicly and openly, and I didn't have time to consult with everyone in the membership group because not everybody has been online today. Some people are working, etc. Give me 1 second. What I've done is I've assigned you all nicknames. And the nicknames, I've tagged you all in this thread. So I've put the running order, I've tagged your name, and I've told you exactly what your nickname is. So R1, for example, you're first. So go to the membership group, look at the list, and you will see R1 is you. Just so I wasn't inadvertently sharing information that was private, etc. Given that this is an open thing and it's in Facebook, it's on YouTube, etc. And we're gonna use mainly one of the favorite decks. This is the Archangel Power Tarot deck, so the full 78 card tarot deck. And because there's been a lot of talk about money and business, etc., what I'm also going to do is I'm going to maybe pull a few from my Money Breakthrough Oracle card deck as well. This one I think is 77 cards. Yeah, it's a whopper. So I created these earlier on this year. So I'm going to pull some from the money deck and also the Archangel Power, because I feel that the money energy is one that we maybe want to look at. Let me put those down there. Right. Okay. So R1, this reading is for you. The way I always do the readings is exactly the same. Now, if you look at the back of the cards, exactly the same pattern. Of course, they're different on the front. Same with my own deck. Don't let me do that. So exactly the same on the back, and then they're all completely different. And the way I always choose the cards is doing what I call cold readings, in that I don't look at the card that I'm choosing. I choose it facing away from me, which then that's why it blows my mind when people go, oh my God, your reading was spot on. Oh my God, Marilyn, you've done it again. Oh my God, I can't believe you said that. And then and I'm not choosing the cards going, oh yeah, this will be a good card for so-and-so. I'm actually choosing them. I'm not looking at them before they come up. So we're going to do exactly the same as we always do. Actually, what I might do as well, just so you have a better view, I think I can do that. Just so you have a better view of the cards as well, rather than looking at the screen. Let me do this. I'm going to shuffle. So this is for R1. Now, normally what I do when I'm reading, I'll say the person's name out loud to get into the vibe of their energy. So I'll just do that bit in my head. Okay. And just to give you some context, there are 13 people on this list. Alrighty, actually, I'm going to go with that card there, wherever that one is. And I'm also going to write down which card it was so I can just tell people what they got. All right, so we've got 9 of Gabriel. I'm going to show it to you in a moment. Okay, right, so here you go, 9 of Gabriel. So this one says, stay determined and move forward, exclamation mark. Be prepared for any possibility and environmental activism. Now, of those mini descriptions on the card, the thing that the way that it feels with your card is that you have maybe been stagnated, isn't quite the right word. It's not that you haven't been doing anything, but it almost feels like, you know, if you're just in the beginnings, the best analogy I can have, the one that comes into my head at the moment, is, you know, when you're spinning your wheels and you're in kind of the beginnings of quicksand. If you watch any of those old movies, somebody was always stuck in quicksand. But it's been like that. You've been slightly spinning your wheels. There's been movement, there's been motion, but there also feels as though there has been something happening that is keeping you stuck, that is blocking you, that is holding you back. I can now hear Paula Abdul. I mean, for those of you who work with me, you'll know that I often hear music and songs when I'm doing coaching sessions and readings, which, you know, which makes me go, oh yeah, that's on the right track. But I can hear Paula Abdul, 1 step forwards, 2 steps back. So it feels like that most of this year has actually been like that for you. And so this one is, it's almost as though, right, you've been planting some seeds, the things are going out there. You might not have seen those things coming to fruition because, like the old analogy, when you plant a seed, there are things that are happening beneath the surface. It feels like there have been things that have been happening beneath the surface. Why would I think that? People are talking. So it may be that people are talking about you in a good way. You know, they're discussing you. Oh yeah, she could be great for this, and that would be really good. And she's da 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 da. So you're in people's minds, you're in conversation, but all of that is happening behind the scenes, behind closed doors at the moment. And so it feels as though in the next couple of months, I'd say the next 2 to 3 months, that some of those doors are now going to start to open, and you might go from chilling like, yeah, plenty of time, to oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, because this is going to come up and this is going to come up, and there's a really lovely opportunity here and a great offer there, or something you really want to do there. So it feels as though as we get into the last 3 months of this year, maybe even the January, February time, things really start picking up a pace and picking up momentum. And this is one where you've got to also keep yourself organized. So I would say if you've got a little bit of time on your hands at the moment, this is the time to get yourself organized, so that if and when those things then start to come, and maybe everything almost comes at once, a bit like buses, you're ready. You don't have to think, oh my God, I've got to do this, and I've got to sort this out. So start sorting now, just to make sure that everything is ready for when it's time to take flight, so that you can glide, as opposed to, you know, be doing the paddling underwater just to keep up. So that is what I would say about that one. So I would just, I'm going to, something I'll just put into the membership group. So that is for R1. And as I said, if you're wondering what the hell am I talking about, go into the membership group or look at the list under the little mini video that I put up as the beginnings of this thread, and you will see what I'm talking about. Okay, so we now have D2, R2, D2. Alrighty, so, okay, we'll have you, but I'm not having just you. So it was like Shrek, pick me, pick me. All right, so all right, we're gonna have, okay, that's an interesting one. We're kind of topped and tailed today. So first card, okay, what I sometimes call the Cinderella card, where there's a lot going on that you've been taking on the burden yourself. So what it says on this card is, ask your angels for helpful people to lighten your load. Working too many hours, trying too hard to please others. I don't know why. It's Gabriel again, actually. I don't know why, but this doesn't feel like necessarily physical work. It feels like mental work. You know, when people create a big old scenario in their head that isn't even true, about what people are thinking, about what people are doing, about what people are saying about them, about the weight of the world is on your shoulders, etc., etc. This actually feels like buying into your own false beliefs. You know, the old saying, you create a mountain out of a molehill, where you've taken on so many burdens and so many, how can I say, expectations, and these expectations aren't necessarily real. It's like nobody has said to you, well, you've got to do this and you should be doing that, and you da 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 da. You've just kind of maybe looked at a few things, had a few clues, extrapolated from that yourself, and made up this set of beliefs and expectations that you then use to beat yourself up with and weigh yourself down. And so it feels like this is a time to reevaluate, to look at the old structures, to look at the old ideas, to look at the old paradigms, and just get clear about, as Byron Katie would say, is that really true? You know, so this one feels like mental burdens as opposed to the pure busyness of life. So that's the first card. Oh God, it's Gabriel again. What is going on? The cards are totally shuffled. They're in completely random order. But Gabriel is really firing today. And there are times, actually, it's been quite funny, I might be doing 15 or so readings and the same card will come up 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times if there's an overall message that it's useful for the group to have as well. So I'm always interested to see the themes. Right, 5 of Gabriel. Feast your eyes on that one. So this one says, a challenge you can resolve. Withdraw from the drama of others. Have patience with yourself and those around you. So, as I was saying with this card, in terms of taking on, cool, thank you, I'll have a look. That's a Facebook message, cool. As in terms of taking on too much, taking on too many burdens, this is the one where it's like, okay, take a step back. So I was just saying, reevaluate. Is that really true? Look at what you look at, the paradigms, etc. And this card is pretty much now saying, okay, in order to do that, take a step back. Breathe. Now, my economics teacher, when I did my business studies degree, he used to say this saying. I never understood it. It used to annoy the heck out of us because we're like, what's he talking? Why is he talking about trees? His little favorite saying was, "You can't." And he used to do it like this. He was how can we say, Caucasian, but he had the biggest afro. Michael Jackson would have been envious of his afro. We never quite figured out how that could be in terms of having that much hair. But he would go, "You can't see the wood for the trees." And we'd be like, "I don't know what that means." I totally know what it means now. It's an analogy I use a lot for my breakthrough coaching clients. And this is one of those where when you're in the thick of it, when you're that close to a tree, you don't know it's a tree. So if things have been getting on top of you, if you've been weighing yourself down with these emotional, mental burdens, this is the time to stop and take a step back. What we'd say in NLP terms, for example, go meta to the situation, because as you take a step back, you can then get better perspective and you can see next steps. Needs to be done, next move, etc. But I would definitely say for yourself, D2, it feels like this is a time of regrouping. This is a time of standing back. This is a time of going, okay, let me gather myself. Let me gather my thoughts. If you've almost been in a little bit of a whirlwind, this is the time to stop and reevaluate. And so I guess if I was going to be a word for that one, I would say it's almost a time of stillness and reevaluation. Yeah, that's really weird in terms of all the Gabriel cards coming up together, but they're definitely not together. I'll show you the deck. So they're all completely randomly scattered. So Gabriel's clearly got something she wants to say. So I'm going to put these back in very different places in the deck. Do that. Next, we've got L3. Hold on, Q&A. Let me just check that out as well. Yeah, cool. Fab. Well, there you go. Those are your insights. Your insights for the month ahead, because that was just your reading, is chill and take stock and reevaluate and look at everything that you have created as true and check out what works for you and what is no longer working and what changes you need to make. But definitely just taking time to reevaluate is, as I would say, the biggest insight it feels like for your month ahead. So L3. So I'm going to go with, I have to try and eke it out because I can just see the corner of it. I'm going to go with that one, whatever that is. New beginnings. Okay. New beginnings, oh, actually, do you know what? That's so weird. I just happen to know because of our conversation a couple of weeks ago that you're ending a contract and you're not sure what's next. So that's very cool. New beginnings. Alrighty, so here we go. So this is the new beginnings card, just so you can have a look, see at that. So it says on this card, starting a new life. Finding your, oh my God, sorry, I'm just saying, oh my God, because I remember what we talked about at the membership group workshop. Finding your new purpose, a forgiving and compassionate review of the past. Well, shut the front door. That was basically what we were talking about. What was it, 3 weeks ago now that I ran the one-day workshop? All right, so new beginnings. Let me read that again, just in its entirety without me ad-libbing. Starting a new life, finding your purpose, a forgiving and compassionate review of the past. And the thing that comes into my head now, and you will know exactly what I mean by this, let me just put it as mother issues. Let me just say it like that. I'm not going to really go into detail about that one. What I will say about that is it's this similar thing You know, when something is expected of you, you're trying to live up to or live into someone else's expectations. And this is a time to kind of go wake up and smell the coffee. If that person is no longer on this earth and on this planet, but you are still here, so you have the entirety of the rest of your life to live, this will be one similar to D2, where we're asking you to kind of just stop and go, hold on a minute, what am I doing? And why am I doing that? Is this my idea? Is this my life? Or is this someone else's? And if the answer that comes up to, oh, it's someone else's, question is, whose is it? So, and you know, and if it doesn't apply to you, you'll be going, I don't, what are you talking about? For those people it applies to, when you do that exercise, you'll know exactly what I mean. And the answers will come up, you know, pretty much straight away. And you'll also, for me, I feel it as a gut feeling. And let me just put this into, okay, let me give you an example of this one for anybody watching going, sorry, can you explain that a bit more? Because if it doesn't apply to you, you might not get it straight away. I said at the beginning of this presentation that I was studying to be a chartered, well, I didn't say that bit, but I just said I, you know, had a change of career. But I was studying to be a chartered accountant, but I was very quiet and very shy. What I wouldn't have said I was lacking in confidence and had low self-esteem. That's what it actually turned out to be. But after I'd sorted myself out, having done the personal development training, suddenly there was, and so I remember somebody said to me on the practitioner training, she said, oh, what do you do? And I said, oh, I'm studying to be a chartered accountant. And she looked at me and said, I can't imagine you being an accountant. I was fuming. The air in my head was blue. Now, I just think I sweetly smiled at her and but I was like, who the hell are you? What do you know about my life? And I think the reason it resonated in such a way is because something inside of me deep down knew she was right. Not consciously, but you know, when somebody presses your buttons, there's something there that's lit. But I remember being just disproportionately angry at this woman making this comment, because my thought was, well, what do you know about my life? Do you know how hard I've studied? And but it's that. But then when I actually got into the training, started to clear the limiting beliefs and negative emotions, suddenly I was like, okay, why am I doing this? Who am I doing this for? And I realized I was not doing it for myself. I was doing it because I thought being able to say I was a chartered accountant would give me more gravitas, because at that point I was working as a glorified secretary. Let me just say, there's nothing wrong with being a secretary. Some of the best practical skills I ever learned, I still use those to this day. However, I just knew that there was more I could be doing with my life, and there's more that I wanted to do. I just didn't know how to articulate or express that, or what the heck that would be. So with this thing here about finding your purpose, when I asked the question to myself, which is why I know it has power and why I share it with my breakthrough coaching clients, when I asked myself that question, what am I doing and who am I doing this for? Whose idea is this? It was like, oh, this has got nothing to do with me. And that's why for me to go home and go to people and say, I'm giving up the chartered accountancy. I was like 2.5, 3 years into it, something like that. And say, I'm giving that up to become a hypnotherapist and an NLP trainer instead. The outside world thought I was bonkers. It was a no-brainer to me. It was totally congruent because I had answered those questions. So I'm going to invite you to sit and do a similar type of evaluation for yourself. And if you want some help doing that, let me know. Because actually, I don't think, because lifetime members, they get when they join, they get a bonus coaching session. From, if memory serves me, you haven't done your session yet, so let me know. Even if you have, we'll still do it anyway, but I don't think you have. But if you want some help with getting clarity around those next steps, new purpose, who are you, etc., then let me know. But yeah, this is one where, you know, that whole and letting yourself off the hook, because I know sometimes there's a sense, well, I should have done this and I could have done that, and I call it the coulda, shoulda, woulda. Nah, just do it. Do an Elsa. Let it go, because I can hear her singing in my head now. This is the time just to kind of go, it's fine. It's fine. It is what it is. I am where I am. The question, a bit like the people on the card who are at the cusp of that journey, the question now becomes, where do I go from here? So that is that. Alrighty. So we've got K4. Cool. Let me just have a look, see at that as well. You are most welcome in terms of saying thanks in the chat. Fab. Oh. So K4. I'm going to go with that one. Okay. Let me show you that one. So 8 of Ariel. So it says on this card, take great pride in your excellent work, exclamation mark. Practice makes perfect. Consider getting additional education or training. The first thing that, as I'm saying that, the words that come into my head were hit the books. And it's not just because he sat reading the books. This feels like, hang on, let me just sort of something for L3. A great question you can use. I will post that. That's a cool question, actually. I'm going to add that to my repertoire. Right, I'll post that in the membership group. Right. So this one feels like hitting the books. And so when it says additional educational training, sometimes people immediately think, oh my God, I've got to sign up for a course and I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And that's very cool, as you saw by my bio, because I've done a lot of courses. But this one feels like, like I've got my bookshelves behind me. There's a similar bookshelf over there. And this one is like, what have you got at your fingertips? It may be something you've been meaning to do. Like, I really should get around to doing that. And oh my God, when I've got a bit more time, I'll do this and I'll do that. This is the time to go, okay, let me look at what's been on that must-do to-do list. It might be, so for example, here, this shelf that you can see mainly in view, these are CD courses, for example, except for the photo reading one, which is actually old school tapes. But it might be you've got a course that you've invested in and you haven't looked at it, you haven't reviewed it, or when you went through it, you did a very quick overview, and this is a time to really get your teeth into it. Or it may be a book that you want to read or photo read, that you kind of go, I've really been wanting to get into that one. So this is the time to hit the books, to get stuck in. But it feels as though you can start with what is already at your fingertips as opposed to shiny new things. So really look at what is it you've got, and it might be something immediately comes to mind. It might be there's a particular skill or an area or a discipline, as I said, book, a course, whatever, but something was probably going to come to mind. You're going to go, actually, do you know what? That's the thing I wanted to do. That's the thing I wanted to look at. So this is the time to get your head down. And I would say if you're one for setting a purpose, setting an intention, objective, goal, however you want to put it, I would go as far as saying, what would you like to have completed by the end of this year? And if there is something that resonates, feel free to head on into the membership group, make your declaration so that we can help to energetically hold you accountable, give you that energetic support. And it might be even fun. Something that we do in the photo reading mastermind group, for example, is you tell us what it is, and then you report back in a couple of weeks or a couple of months' time and just give us a little bit of a rundown and an overview. And the reason why that's a really powerful approach is for you to be able to articulate it and explain it to someone else, further cements it into your own neurology. So that is one I would say, have fun with that. Okay, let's do that. So yeah, declaration. And even if you're not declaring it to us, you might go, it's none of your damn business. You don't want to tell us what you're working on. At least declare it to the universe. That's what I would say with regards to this. All right. Next is A5. And if you're coming in partway through and you're in the membership group already, go to the thread. I have typed your name, I've tagged your name, so it should show up in your notifications. And I've told you which letter and number I have assigned to you, given that I'm doing these readings publicly rather than, in our private Facebook group. Alrighty, A5. And then what I will do as well, I will cycle back to Facebook in a bit and look at the messages and also look at the thread from that stream. Right, A5. Let's give it a good old shuffle. Alrighty. Oh, I'm going to go with that one. See what we've got. Oh, hello, Gabriel. Actually, we're moving up the Gabriel scale now, though. So, all right. And what I mean by that is we're moving out of burdens into I've got this. So here we go. Let me show you the Queen first of all, so you can see what I will be looking at. Cool. So Queen of Gabriel. So the qualities of this, the energy of this: passionate, charming, brilliant, independent. It says on this card, you can do anything right now, exclamation mark. Go after what you want. The ability to attract helpful people. Now, I've got goosebumps at this point because I'm just thinking about the conversation, the thing that I posted. It was Motivation Monday yesterday. I read your Motivation Monday piece in the group today, and it is basically that, because the question I posed, you answered in full. I was like, wow, thank you for sharing, very impressive. And basically that's what you've done, that's what you did for the Motivation Monday piece yesterday stroke this morning. So that is really, really cool. I also know from what I've seen you posting is that you have actually been out there actively asking for helpful people in certain aspects. So, and you know, the thread that I had commented on, you've already seen where, actually do let me know where that goes. Actually, I'll be really interested to know what connection comes from that. You know what I'm talking about. So this is basically what we've been doing this week, what we've been talking about. So that is very, very cool. So that aside, in terms of tick, yes, we know you're on it. Let me look at this one again and just see what else comes to mind, because actually I haven't even looked at the cards today. It's all just been like, let me just think about how to say that in a way that's just not round the freaking houses. Give me that in a different way so I can just, you know, put that into a succinct sentence rather than having to tell the whole story of the desert. Would be lovely. All right. Okay, I'm going to write that word down because I think that's going to come in handy. This is, you know, when you say the word, when you say whatever, the word trailblazer kind of means like fire cutting through something. This is more like if you've ever watched a snake slithering through the sand. It's making a trail, it's moving, but it's not that fire energy. It's not like the cutting through. It's more elegant, more graceful. It's not to say there isn't the same or even more progress than the. So when I say trailblazer, it doesn't mean that forging a completely new path, but it is, how can I say that, breaking through new ground, new territory. I think the reason the trailblazer bit comes into it is it's kind of a first. So for example, there have been a few things I've done where I was then amazed to find that nobody else had ever done them. Like there's a company that I'm associated with, so I asked for something because there's something I do on my photo reading workshops, which I just assumed everybody else does. So I went and said, I need XYZ to make this even more smooth. And they went, well, what do you want that for? I'm like, for my photo reading workshops? They're like, well, Marilyn, nobody does that. So, and there are photo reading instructors all over the world, you know, and there have been for over 30 years. So it's that sort of thing where you might not think it's a big deal. You're just kind of going, well, I think I want to do this and I think I'll do that and da 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 da. But actually what you're doing is charting a path which others can follow. And it may be that whatever you're taking on, whatever the mantle is you're picking up, oh, I know there's that word. I won't say it out loud because this, if I say that and people know you, they'll go, oh, I know who that is. But I've written it down. I'll put it in the membership group. But whatever the mantle is that you're picking up and you're taking on, it may be that you are leading the charge. Other people don't yet know this. They don't yet have this information. So you're going to do it as a matter of course and just walking your path and doing what you're doing. But what you're not realizing is you're probably going to be the first in terms of breaking new ground, and you're going to be leading the way for others to follow, if that makes sense. And what I would say about that also is the words that come into my head is, this is okay. Oh God, you're not going to like this now. You'll make sense. For those of you who are at the membership group workshop, when I just say the word archetypes, you're going to know exactly what I'm saying. The words that came into my head, and I'm like, what's a bit weird, is embrace the queen. So the energy that resides inside of you, and I was like, embrace the queen, what the hell is that? And it's like, you know, we need the archetypes. So this is the queen energy. She's there, she's in power, she's relaxed, but you know she's in control, you know she's on it in terms of what's happening. So whatever that means to you in terms of that energy, the queen energy, embrace the queen. And the reason I'm going, oh, you're not going to like this, is my suggestion would be embrace the archetype of all of the positive aspects of that energy, so you embody it as you go forwards, and nobody is going to be pulling the wool over your eyes. You're focused, you're in charge, you're on it, and it's like people see you coming and go, oh, don't mess with her. Do you know what I mean? But it's not anything you're saying, it's about the presence of it. So that's what I would say about that one. Yeah, but you know, clearly the archetypes are destined, they want to keep playing with you. That's all I'm going to say on that one. Right, so we've got R6. R6 is next, and then I'll have a little breather and I'll have a quick look at the messages and just see if there's anyone also in the membership group who's going, where's Tarot Tuesday? Hopefully it's shown up on all of your feeds now. So R6, before I do that. R6. All right. Ooh, before we even start, I like, that's the one I've got my eye on. I like you, whatever you are. Ooh, okay. Major Arcana. And I'd say with this one immediately, we're looking at new perspectives, but let me just see what else, how that fits. All right, change your life, Archangel Chamuel. So here you go. So this is this one, change your life. So what we have here, a sudden revelation that offers freedom, break free of procrastination, embrace the opportunities that change brings. Now, this is a little bit like the D2 cards, the cards for D2. But it's not as, there's a card in the deck in traditional tarot called the Hermit. D2 felt more like the Hermit, and you need to step away from life, step away, and go, like the Hermit goes down into a cave to just, you know, take stock, regroup, etc. So this isn't necessarily the Hermit card. However, there is an element of still what I was saying, going meta to the situation, taking a step back, surveying the land. Actually, one of the things I'm going to say, and I know this is a track that you are naturally on anyway, this one feels like you survey the landscape, and you also get a sense of appreciation for what you've done, what you've achieved, what you have created. If your immediate response to that is, well, I haven't really achieved much, I haven't done any much, like, but it's like, okay, yes, you have, and you might have to do like a full written inventory, like do a little mini stock take of your life. And you can do it in chunks of, let's say, cool, I will look at that. In terms of Facebook, I can see the like little notifications coming up. I'll be there in a sec. But you know, you might go from 0 to 10, from 11 to 20, from 21 to 30, from 31 to 40. I've no idea what your age is, so maybe 40 is where we're going to max out. But you can take it in chunks rather than having to go, oh God, right, so I was born and then I did this and that. Nah, you can take it in chunks and go, okay, what were some of my biggest achievements from 0 to 10? It might just be, I made it, I survived, which would be my case. What were some of my biggest achievements from 11 to 20? And just see what comes to mind, just see what comes to mind. The reason I'm going to say write those down, you can be thinking about things and then they can come and they can go, but when you write it down and then you can take a step back and look at it, you then go, man, well, that's quite impressive. And I know sometimes when I send my biography to people, I have people go, oh, it's a bit intimidating. Oh, there's a lot there. When I'm just saying I've done this, I've done that, it doesn't seem like much. Then when you write it down, even if we go back to that very first slide that I put up, sometimes people are like, whoa, it's that when you write it down, you get a deeper sense of appreciation for what you've done, what you've achieved, even what you've been through. You've come out the other side. So this feels like this is like a stepping stones exercise, because once you realize, man, I've done that, man, I've come through that, man, I've survived that, man, I've achieved that, that then becomes the stepping stone for whatever the next phase is. That's going to be the thing that supports you. That's going to be the thing that underpins you. That's going to be the thing that gives you that sense of, I don't know if courage is it feels like courage, but I think there's also a different way to say that. But this is like the we want that foundation, because I don't know why, and you can, when you watch this video, tell me what was your reaction when I said survey your achievements and your accomplishments, etc. Was it the oh, I haven't really done that much, I haven't really done anything yet, well, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. If it was that, then that's the thing where I'm going to say it's going to be really important for you to do a stock take so that you consciously get a sense of everything you've done, everything you've achieved, and the strength of the character of the person that you are. Because this is one where, for you to embrace the new opportunities that are coming, we need you to have more confidence. We need you to have more courage. We need you to have more self-belief. We need you to have more of an appreciation of your skills and your talents and your strengths. And a lot of that can come from just doing that self-inventory. So that's what I would say about that. All right, let me just have a quick nosy, because I'm seeing all these things popping. Let me just go to Facebook. Hi, Isabel. Isabel says, haven't seen you in ages. Hello. Yeah, I have been having serious trouble with Facebook Live. I can't live stream anymore. I don't know why. I can't say it was because of the Windows 10 update. All I'm saying is that after that update, a number of my programs are not working. So it could be random on Facebook's part. It could be on my part. Oh, hi, Nicholas. And Nicola Green said, here, I get, that's in answer to the, you know, what do you want to get? What's your purpose, your intention? I'm here to see how you work and what you do. And also for clarity, that is absolutely fantastic. Let me click there as well. Oh, I think, and I will, oh, hang on, let me go. I'm just going to pop there also in the membership group. Oh, okay. Let me just write that down. Oh, good, because I was just, you're next but one. So I'm glad I saw that. So you want the money card. Money card, need to find 100K within a week. All right, we're okay. I like that number. Okay, question for you guys watching, just out of interest, just kind of play with this one. If you needed to raise 100K in a week, I'd be interested also in just your thoughts and your ideas and suggestions. What would you do? And it can be from any industry. So just come up with some creative ideas, because oftentimes when you can get ideas outside of your own industry as well, it can be fascinating. All right, so we're going to be doing N7 and then we come to W8. So N7, actually. water, then N7. We're going 15 from the top, apparently. Actually, so I don't need to hold the massive deck. Let's just hold a little stack. 15 from the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Let's see what that is. Ooh, hello. Another major arcana. So we have divine guide. Actually, we haven't had Archangel Michael hasn't made an appearance yet. So we have divine guidance, encompassing all. Alrighty, so it says, this is Archangel Sandalphon. This says, the search for meaning in life. Consider an alternative approach. Surround yourself with wise teachers or friends. I can hear Mike. Seriously, if you, I don't, let me just write that down so I'll put it in the group as well. My suggestion is going to be go to YouTube and pull this song up. The song that immediately started playing as I was reading that card, and I think, the reason I'm like, whoo, it might be a little bit emotional. But the reason, as soon as I started reading this, I could hear Michael Jackson singing the song, You Are Not Alone. My suggestion is you go to YouTube, you find that song, you turn up the volume, not enough to annoy your neighbors, of course, and you sit and you listen to that song and you take it on. I've got goosebumps now. So I definitely want you to do this as a bit of home play. And the lines that are playing in my head, you are not alone, I am here with you, because this card, you get a sense that actually it's what you were saying at the membership group day, actually, but I get a sense you've almost been feeling like you are alone. And this card is saying, look, even if you haven't got physical people around you, sometimes people live in a different country to the majority of their friends, their family, etc., or they just live in a different part of the country, depending on, geographically, your friends are dispersed. So even though you might not have people physically around you, this is one that is reminding you that it's going to sound maybe a little bit airy-fairy, but the universe has got your back. Spirit has got your back. Source has got your back. However if you're religious, God, Buddha, whatever that thing is, this is a reminder that it has got your back. It has got your back. And when you move out of that place and that space of feeling maybe abandoned, alone, disenchanted, it's quite a nice word, sounds a bit fairy tale-ish, but disenchanted, and actually, this is now, because I was just about saying this about listening to divine guidance, and the words that come into my head is like divine guidance to you saying, tell people how you feel. Now, this doesn't mean getting on Facebook and having to blast it all over creation, but those people you consider to be your friends, those people you consider to be, as it says here, your teachers, those people you consider to be, now considering to be your guardians is a really weird way to say it, but this means that those people who you naturally feel as though they've got your back, this is the time to go to them, and it's either telling them how you feel, or asking for their support, or just simply requesting that they hold the space. Now, there's a very good friend of mine, I was saying to her before I started this webinar, I says, my God, Gina, do you realize it's 19 years ago, pretty much coming up to the day that we first met. We've been firm friends ever since. And the thing that I set up with her years ago, because we both did the same personal development training, so we then used to practice coaching on each other and blah. And then there was a point a couple of years in where I realized there were times I wasn't sure, what am I doing here? Am I coaching you, or am I doing some therapy, or am I listening? Am I your friend? And so I basically one day I remember I said, look, okay, before you continue, what do you need from me? What do you want from me? I said, am I just holding the space, or am I coaching and doing some sort of therapeutic intervention? And then the thing that we set up is a bit like I went to Magic Mike. Oh, this is probably going in the wrong direction now. I went to Magic Mike Live last week. really good, actually, much more classy than I thought it was going to be. But one of the things they play with the idea of the safe word. And if you've ever watched something like 50 Shades of Grey, if you're into BDSM and all that stuff, which I'm not, but fair play to you if you are. Having had some bamboo healing treatment, I totally know it's not for me. But they have a safe word. And I instigated the same thing with my friend. And I says, look, if we're going to be on a call and it's going to be one where you're going to share where you're at, how you're feeling, etc., let's be clear. If you're aware, what do you need? And there are times I'll say to her, if she calls me, I'll say, what am I doing here? Am I just listening? Or do you want some intervention from me? Because there are times you just want to get it out. You just want to say it. You don't want somebody to try and fix it. You don't want somebody to try and make it better. You don't want somebody to psychoanalyze you. You don't want somebody to try and make you break it down and face your fears. It's like, oh, sod off. There are times you just want to go, oh. So that's a very long way of saying, if you do decide to, I'm going to write that down. If you do decide to reach out to people, tell them what, if you know, because sometimes you don't know. And in those cases, just have the conversation and see where it takes you. But if you're clear, I just need to get this off my chest and I don't need, second degree psychoanalysis. Just say, I just want to speak, and I just want another human being to hear me. So that's what we're going to do with that one. Cool. So, okay, we're going for the money deck. Oh, okay. Well, we're going for the money deck, and this one's like, so we're going to see what that one is as well, maybe. So, money deck. So let's give these a shuffle. Hang on, that should be there. Right. Alrighty. So, let's see. Ooh. Do you know what? The first thing that comes into my mind, even before we start, is lots of choice. So just in the same way, I was just saying, hey guys, you were watching, what would you do if you needed to raise 100K in a week? And I was saying about variety, etc. The first thing that comes in, because there are lots of cards going, ooh, that one. So it felt like lots of choice. Oh, okay. This is a coaching exercise for you. So let me show you this card first of all. This is because the card is a mixture of spiritual stuff, coaching exercises, practical things, guided processes, little meditations, etc. So this is the money appreciation card. So what it says when you pay your bills or write, kind of pay your bills, or sometimes you're online, you could be doing it in person in the shop, but when you pay your bills, what you want to write down or say is, I am grateful I have the money to continue to pay you in full. And you take a few moments to look around and appreciate what you do have. So this feels like this spiritual side of creation, money creation. And funny enough, the post I shared yesterday, where I'm thinking about possibly doing a book club around one of my favorite books written, gosh, soon it will be, coming up to the 100-year mark or whatever it was. But the whole premise of this book is, there are some practical things in it as well, but the whole premise of this book is the energetics and what I call the speaking it and thinking it into existence, which is a term that I came up with my clients, because we would talk about something during a session, or we'd put something in their timeline and bang, it would happen pretty much word for word. And this feels like this whole thing. So what you might do to take this a step further in terms of seeing yourself having created it, seeing yourself having the 100K that you're looking for, enjoying the feeling of that, and then affirming, now coming up with some kind of affirmation statement, intention, whatever you want to call it, where basically you're saying, all of my needs are met. I have the money to create and generate and do anything I want to do, have anything I want to have, achieve everything I want to achieve. So this one is going to be starting the ball rolling with the energetic side, with the spiritual side, and cleaning away anything that might stop and block or stand in the way of that, anything that might get in the way. So this is like where you're playing, you know, like in photo reading terms, we call it dream play. So that's well, we don't cover it in a workshop, we do it in the mastermind group, but there's a thing in called dream play where you can program your dreams to help you. You can program your dreams to solve problems. You can program your dreams to bring what you photo read to life, bring your ideas to life. And this feels like that kind of playful energy where you're like, 100K, so amazing. Get into the energy of that, get into the vibe of that, get into the sense of appreciation that you've already got it, it's already there. I guess the way that Esther Hicks would say it, it's already in escrow. And now your role is to find the practical ways that you can start drawing it down and drawing it in and bringing it to fruition. But I'd say, you know, I can hear Bon Jovi, keep the faith. Keep the faith that energetic part, and some would say the feeling around it is sometimes greater in momentum than the actual practicalities of it. But get into that kind of that feeling part, the playing with the idea, dancing with the idea of it, and then, you know, from there, and that mindset and that place and that space, that's when you can then be expansive and say, okay, so I feel it. What can I now do practically to create this and bring this to fruition? There was a card as I was putting that deck down that was like, did the pick me. So 6 of Raphael. Okay, let me show you that one first. Oh, actually, I was going to go, what's that got to do with what I just said? But actually, the first thing I saw was inner child. So I've been talking about playing with the energy, you know, and children are very good at make believe. And actually, they are really good manifestors, if you want to put it that way as well. Because even myself, even though I didn't have the childhood where I just asked for something and I get it straight away, there were times as children where I remember I really wanted a ballet Cindy. I really wanted a ballet Cindy. Oh my God, I was dreaming of ballet Cindy and what I'd be able to do. And there was also a doll that stood about 3 foot high. Her name was Julia. And I remember she had a smile. She actually, you know, you could see her white teeth. It was a black doll, so quite unusual because most of the dolls I had were white. And I just remember praying for Julia and imagining myself playing with her. And oh my God, the fun we're going to have. And she's one of those dolls where you put your hands on her shoulders and you do this, and there's like an elastic mechanism inside that makes her legs go like this, so she walks. Oh my God, me and Julia were together before. I saw her in Brixton Market up in a massive box, and I was like, oh my God. And I knew it was a lot of money because she's way bigger than Cindy and Hagvok and Barbie and Action Man, which I did have, $6 Million Man, the Bionic Woman. But with all of those toys, I had to energetically pray for them first, because as I said, it wasn't a case of I want this and you just get it. It's like you could wait months or even a year or two to get what you wanted. But normally birthdays and Christmas, that was the time. But it's that kind of energy that children have. It's like they're just Imagineering, as I call it, in terms of they have the thing that they want, and then they're going to, you know, pressure the parents and, you know, come up with creative strategies to get it. And this is the kind of energy that we're playing with here. So I'm going to write you there. Okay, so we had so embrace your inner child, new friendships or rekindled relationships, children or childhood. So we've addressed the playing bit, what I call the Imagineering bit. New friendships or rekindled relationships. This feels like the land of LinkedIn now, where you're going to sit down and think, okay, what contacts do I have that could help me with this, that could point me in the right direction, that could give me some suggestions, that have maybe done this themselves before. So this is the thing about strategically reaching out. Be clear in what you're wanting, be clear in what you're asking for. Similar-ish to what I was just saying with my friend, where I said, okay, what do you need from me? And there are times I'll ring her up and go, I just want to rant. And then and then I go, okay, I'm done now. And then we just start the conversation afresh and completely different. I don't need a big old input. I don't need a lecture, blah, blah, blah. I just want to get it off my chest. This is now, we're talking strategic business here, where you're not just going with I want to be clear, because there'll be some people who could help you with strategy. There could be some people who could help you with process. There can be some people who could help you with microfinancing, whatever. So now, as you make that list, I've just done, I did a course recently, and it was a 30-day thing, and they had basically what you might call a hot 100 list, where 100 people you'd love to connect with, to work with, support you, etc. you could come up with a similar version of that. Write down, it might not be 100 to start off with, but start with what you got and just write down the names of all of the people who might be instrumental in helping this. Also, what would be really cool if you've written a couple of those names down, I mean, like pen and like old school, I've always got pen and paper here, and then they get in touch or you see them pop up on social media or something like that, take that as a double sign, like, we're cooking with gas. So yeah, this one is going to be, you know, asking, coming up with ideas, who can do what, reaching out. Some of them might be people you don't know, but you might say, look, I've been observing you, I've been a follower, I've been a fan, I've realized you've done that, this is what I want to do. You might even go with the thing that a friend of mine, Kerwin Ray, always used to talk about this idea. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about it a lot as well, in terms of you also, you're not just asking for, I want this and I want that, and can you help me with this, can you help me with that? You're also finding a way, how can you be of service to them and what do they need as well? Because it might be that you can support them with something. So there's that lovely energetic exchange. So that is what I would say about that. Alrighty, we've got, oh, how many? Got five more. 5 more. 5 more. Yeah, these sessions are sometimes epic, depending on how many people I'm reading for. All right, we've got 09. Z09. 09. So we haven't had Michael and Raphael yet. Interesting. They've been pretty quiet today. Right. So 09. Oh, I'm going to go with you. Okay. Let me actually write it down. Alrighty, so we got 5 of Ariel. And we're similar to N7, different kind of vibe, but still the reminder that you're not alone. So it says you needn't go through your current challenges alone. Help is nearby, exclamation mark. Negative thoughts create self-fulfilling prophecies. So even if you are someone who considers yourself to be uber positive and upbeat and happy and all, oh, why would I, Pollyanna, okay, so oh, I got it. I was like, Smokey Robinson, huh, what? But Tears of a Clown, got it now. I'm like, fine. Sometimes it's a little bit random. It's like, you know, the paper smile, the Smokey Robinson Tears of a Clown, Pollyanna syndrome, where it's all that. This is one, how can I say this? All right, it's a question. It's a question. Where is your safe space? Where you don't have to put on a front. You don't have to be the life and soul of the party. You don't have to be the positive one in the room. And I don't mean, we're not going to the extent of the pity party where you're in a hole and now you can't get yourself out. That's not what I'm saying. But there are times where, and when I say you want the mask to slip, I'm not suggesting that you go around wearing a mask, but you know, sometimes there are expectations in terms of who someone is, what they're all about. And you only have to, you know, look at a little bit of celebrity culture. One of the things that often endears people to a particular celebrity, like we've got a show here, I'm pretty sure you've probably got something similar in the United States. For example, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, where people are stripped down, quite literally, and they're thrown into the jungle. And this is where you see their fears and their insecurities coming to the fore. We had another show which didn't appear to be anything about the psyche. It was about some men recreating a TV show, a movie, where they were, you know, the song is You Can Keep Your Hat On, but they were going to strip to raise awareness of testicular cancer. So, you know, I watched it. If you've ever seen the movie, it's called The Full Monty. So these male celebrities, many of whom were very fit, and I mean physically, you know, buff, but it was kind of deep psychologically because their fears and insecurities were coming up. There was one of them who's actually a dancer, and you thought he would be right in there to get his kit off. He's like, oh my God, you know, I haven't danced for a while, and and the ones you think who are super confident, and you know, seriously, the stuff that was coming up for people was just like crazy. But I'm pretty sure it brought them a whole new audience, because it's like, oh, they're not Superman, they're human, they're real. And so this feels like the wherever to be real. God, yeah, there's a song, disco tune, but it's that whole thing. Okay, yeah, all right, we'll all right. So the thing I would say is where's your tribe? Where do you go? I guess the kind of movie way to say that is, where do you go to let your hair down? Because it feels like having to keep up the facade, the process, the energy, the one who's always leading the charge, the one who's always got it, a bit like Olivia Pope, consider it handled. There are times you're like, okay, I'm not handling it. I need someone else to handle this. And it feels like that kind of energy. And I would say also, just notice if in your expression to yourself, if you're leading more with the negative and what's not happening, because just inadvertently by a situation of circumstances, what is presented to you isn't the most positive, just make sure you keep a little bit of a handle on that, and make sure you don't slip too far down that little slope. So this is just a reminder, just to I guess the way you might put it is, just notice where your focus is. And if your focus isn't on what you want, in terms of, oh, I'm so tired, oh, it's been this, it's been that, natural human reaction, we know, we got it. And you just kind of go, okay, is that what I want? And if it's not, you then go, okay, what do I want instead? And what do I need to do for myself to now start moving me back to that place and that space? And sometimes it is that thing where you can just go and let your hair down, get it all off your chest, and allow yourself to be human rather than Superman or Superwoman. All right, so M10. Ooh, okay. Okay, I'm going to go with let's go with that one, but I'm going to go with the one behind it instead. Curious now though. All right, those two, just going being nosy. Alrighty, so the first one that went, pick me, so let's have a look. 3 of Raphael. Oh, we're back on the friend vibe, similar. So with what I was just saying with 09, this is basically the picture that epitomizes that, where you hang with your girls and you just let your hair down. So 3 of Raphael. All right, and so 3 of Raphael says, reasons to celebrate, a community of friends, happy announcements regarding relationships or children. So this is, I guess the modern day term of that is Netflix and chill. I personally don't have Netflix, but I'm very good at chilling. But this is the one where you're just like, do you know what? Even if everything hasn't been going your way, even if you could come up with a list and a string of things that have not been working for you, the flip side of that is, okay, that's fine. And what has worked? What has gone right? What have I achieved? And actually, I'm going to invite you to go to do the past 9 months. Similar to what I was saying with R6, but that was about her life. With this one, I'm going to say, let's look at the past 9 months. And if very funny, I think it's Ian Jury, Reasons to be Cheerful, part 3. So, and with each month, January, February, March, April, May, each month, just pick one thing that happened each month that was cause for celebration. It might be something you did, it might be something you achieved, it might be something you really enjoyed, whatever it is, each month. So you're going to have 9 celebration pieces. Like, that was cool, that was good, really enjoyed that, that was fantastic, oh yay me, high five, but go back and just do a little exercise with this one and just find a reason to celebrate something that you did, you achieved, you experienced, you created, whatever it is, over the last 9 months. So that's the first one. Ooh, okay. So the other card, which was like, I think you need to pick me too, was another major arcana. So the wheel, end of a cycle, beginning of something else. So new beginnings, end of delays, a change in direction that offers happiness. Okay, the Spice Girls, they tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'm like, okay, whatever. Okay, I get it now, I get it. So I think where this is going to fit nicely with what I've just said, do the 9 months, the celebration piece, but also while you're doing your review, because oftentimes it's very useful to actually look at your calendar to do that exercise, because just to remember from memory, what did I do in January again? You get the kind of Britney Spears look. You're like, okay, but so when you're doing that, do the celebration piece, and then what you might want to cycle back round now is kind of look at, because this is moving us in to doing your evaluation of the year thus far, and when you would like to, where you would like to be in 3 months' time, when that ship for 2019 comes in and hits the dock on the 31st of December. So, and one of the things one of the ways it's going to be useful, you can look at what you've done, where you've been, to determine the direction that you want to, because there's a ship right in the back of this one. So the analogy would be, you can determine the direction that you want to steer your ship in next year. So you're not necessarily just blindly going into doing the same again once that clock ticks over. You're going to be now really making a decision about, this is what I've done, this is where I've been. Is the path still the same? Am I steering the same course? Or is there another direction as we move into 2020 that feels more like you and is going to bring you even more of a sense of satisfaction, even more of a sense of happiness, such that the energy from the Three of Raphael is just your daily life? You feel that pretty much all the time. Oh God, it's crazy in my head. I've now got the Mars. A Mars a day helps you work, rest and play. So whether you're resting and chilling, whether you're working, whether you're playing, that is the energy of your life, rather than having to wait for time to Netflix and chill. So that's what I'd say about that one. Alrighty, so we have got S11. Put those back randomly. Oh, actually, while I'm doing that, let me just have a quick look, see. Switch to FB. Cool, that's cool. Fabulous. Brilliant. Hey, David, how you doing? David Shepherd. Oh, my God, if you're still watching, I was talking to Gina back today, and I said, this is the honest to God's truth. Feel free to ring her and ask her. I said, Gina, do you realize it's our 19-year anniversary? And then I said, do you think David Shepherd would be up for organizing a 20-year anniversary for the class of 2000? The reason I was suggesting that you would organize it, my words to Gina were, well, the reason I think David would be the best person to kind of instigate it is because he of all of us is probably going to be the one who has the contact details for the class of 2000. I did mine in October 2000 and then November/December for the Master Prac. And so your name came up in conversation today. I was saying to you, and I said, maybe I'm going to drop David an email or send him a message and just see, number one, if he has a database that goes back that far. And if he does, how does he feel about, and my words were, well, we could maybe go for a meal, or even if we just met up in a really nice bar in London. There's a really nice one in Marble Arch, which has a massive space. Just rock up and buy your your own drinks, I don't mind. And I was saying, you know, there are people that I named some of the people that I did my training with, wondered where they are now, what they're doing. And so, David, I will be sending you a message kind of going, what do you fancy? And I was saying, well, we've got a whole year to organize it. So if the database still exists, like, I know people change their email address, etc. But we literally, you know, I was talking about you a couple of hours ago. Well, actually, just before I started this webinar. So yeah, cool. So I shall be in touch, because it would be really fantastic to see where everyone is. Hey, Carrie, how you doing? It'd be really nice to see how everyone is doing. Fab. Alrighty. So, okay, S11. Oh, I'm going to go with, let me move that just so I can see. Is it that one or that one? It's this one. I'm going to go with that one. Oh, hello. All right, so it's the power of 3 again. So we have 3 of Raphael. All right. So, Madam S11, the thing about it is you definitely need to let your hair down. I'm not going to say the thing that was in my head. I'm going to write it maybe in the membership group. Alrighty. So you definitely this is mad. There's like a literally a jukebox in my head. Now I've got Rihanna, work. I actually love that song. Work. So it feels like it's been a lot of work and not enough play. Now, people can automatically, oh, well, I'm very busy, and my work takes up all of my day, and then I get home and I'm very tired. Totally get it. I hear you. I get that. So my piece of home play to you is what constitutes fun for you? What constitutes play? What is your version of chilling with the girls or hanging with the guys, your Netflix and chill? What is the equivalent of that for you? And I want you to start coming up with a compendium of those things. There'll be some of those things where you go, look, I need 2 weeks in the Bahamas. Fine, you're going to need to book a holiday. There'll be other times where you go, well, actually, that's really fun. Or, you know, phoning so-and-so, doing a FaceTime, meeting up for a lunch. You know, if I'm working with someone and we're both having a lunch break, can we coordinate? So I'm going to say have everything from the very simple and basic through to the I need my 2 weeks in the Bahamas, and everything from the sublime to the ridiculous. And get all of those things, bring them to conscious awareness, because what you want to do is start bringing more of those things into your day, into your life now, such that you never hit the point of burnout, that you never have to, you know, I've never run a marathon, but I hear people talk about hitting the wall. So start bringing these fun things in now, such that things continue to roll. And it might be occasionally where you go, I have to talk myself into it, but you kind of know that when you get there, when you actually do it, it's going to be massive amounts of fun. So identify the people on your fun list, identify the things on your fun list, and get to it and start doing some of those things. All right, we've got W12, and then we're finishing with K13. Whoa. So W12. And there's been a couple of times where the list has been really long, and I've said to the group, should we do this in 2 halves? They're like, no, keep going, carry on. And I guess the beauty of the recording is, you know, and the reason I kind of do the running order, etc., people get a little sense of where they are. But of course, in the replay world, you can hit pause when you need a breather, or you sometimes, I mean, actually, I think most people listen to the whole thing, because there are often things that I say to other people which are good strategies and ideas, etc. Right, hocus pocus focus, Marilyn. W12. Alrighty. I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go with that one there. Oh, hello, the king. Okay, King of Raphael. Hey, Neelam, King of Raphael. So it says, yes, it is safe to trust, exclamation mark, the ability to accomplish many things at once. Follow, follow your creative passions. Now, you guys were at the free workshop, the membership group workshop 3 weeks ago. What you won't know is that with this particular person, I was like, don't you be turning up there without those products. And don't you turn up to that workshop without having some of, because they're like, oh, give them away. I'm like, no, no, no. Give them away. Yes. So if all of you got your gifts, that was absolutely amazing. That was fantastic. And my remit was, if you're going to be coming and giving those away, please also have some for resale, so that if people want a bigger package or if they want to gift it to someone else, it's there. And that joyfully did happen. So as I'm reading this, I'm remembering that conversation, because it's more of that. And it was really lovely to see you with the second creation in that series. Really exciting. So that was wonderful. And so this one now we're coming down to, this is about self-trust first and foremost. I don't, because sometimes people oh god, it feels like everything's going wrong, like I was saying earlier on with with N7, about knowing that even if you physically haven't got people around you, it's that sense that the universe, source, etc. has got your back. It feels like it's the flip for you. You're pretty like on it in terms of yeah, kind of live in a magical universe. Maybe not, doesn't flow exactly the way you want it all the time, but it's cool. This one feels more like it's safe to trust yourself. It's that whole thing about you might have doubted yourself. Can I do this? Is it the right thing? Is it worth doing? And one of the things I say to myself, because it always seems a bit crass and harsh to say, I sometimes say it to my breakthrough coaching clients as well, but I just say sometimes you've got to suck it and see. Just do it. Because and it's one that I know definitely, for those of you who follow Gary Vaynerchuk, he talks about it all the time. I've been talking about it for the last 19 years. And it's the thing that because people often used to say to me, oh my gosh, don't you regret putting all that time and all that money into studying the accountancy and then not doing those final few exams? I'm like, totally no. I say, actually, I'm so glad I did it, because it's out of my system. Never will I have that thing where I sit down, if I didn't go for it, and go, oh my God, what would have happened if? And it's like, no, totally, it's not in my system. I did it. I was going to do it. Something else derailed me. It was a complete curveball, but there's no regrets, because I know that I did it. I gave it my best at the time, even with all the early onset Alzheimer's stuff I was going through. And so I know in my heart it's not for me. And sometimes the only way you can get to that place with an idea, with your creations, is to do it. And you'll either do it and go, nope. Like there are some workshops I've run, fantastic, really loved them. But once they're done, and my psyche, my system was like, done that now, don't need to do it again. So they've never returned. Banished procrastination is one that comes to mind. Ran it the once, never run it again. So there are several that fit there. And I just like, I don't need to do it again. I've done it now. I've done it. It's fine. And then there are other things that will take on a life of their own. So you think it's one thing, you start doing it, and then it just cascades into another. So this one feels like we talk on the photo reading. I'm just laughing. I've seen the photo. I'm seeing the whole process in my head. But somebody on their photo reading feedback form last weekend, he wrote JFDI in terms of, I say, what would you say to someone who's thinking about taking a photo reading class? And that's just do it with an extra embellishment. And this feels like the energy of that. Come on. Just do it. And even if you kind of go, you know what, last 3 months of the year, I'm going to put my all into this, and just go for it. Just go for it. Right. Okay. And then Neelam and Coral, if you are both still here, given that you appeared in the webinar room and I could see you, let me know if you would like a quick reading once I finish K13, and I'll pull a quick card for you both as well. So that's Neelam and that's Coral. And Coral, I know you're now on Facebook, so if you're still watching, I will cycle back. Brilliant, fabulous, cool. And I don't worry, Coral, I'll check Facebook, see if you're still here and you'd like one as well. Right, alrighty. K13. Let's do this thing. Oh my God, it's 9 o'clock. K13. Okay, we need to give him another shuffle apparently. Alrighty. K13, K13. Oh, hello. Right, I'm going to go with that one there. Oh, hello. We've had you as well. All right. All right. So this is the one that said, I'll show it to you actually, just in case you are coming in just at this point. So this is the one that says, embrace your inner child, new friends or rekindled relationships, children or childhood. So let me just do a reset and forget about what I just said with the other reading. I can now hear Cyndi Lauper, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And seriously, with the songs that I mentioned, my suggestion is go and find them and play them and just see what it invokes in you. But this feels like the Cyndi Lauper card. I can kind of remember that video from the 80s where she's bouncing about. I think she was wearing some kind of weird headband and yellow and whatever, some sort of sportsy gear, like the Jane Fonda workout kind of outfit. But I'm gonna go and find that video. But this feels like the Cyndi Lauper card, where it's like, oh my God, you are. When I say serious. Okay, cool. And then there's another song maybe to look up. It's Raise Your Glass, I believe. Is it Pink? So this is the one where, because there's a line in that. So why so serious? So this is a time. This feels like, yeah, it just feels like this. Like you just want to have fun. You just want to, just laugh and just giggle like a schoolgirl. And that's basically all I want to add to this one is just laugh and giggle like a schoolgirl, and hang with friends or make new friends. I won't say, if I say that then people know who you are, but you know what I mean in terms of the way that you move around. So this one is, maybe you set the intention that as you travel, you're going to just like have a new friend in every place, space, port, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, this is the one where you just like, oh man, let's just have fun. And it doesn't say it doesn't mean you're going to shirk your responsibilities. You're going to do all of that as well. But in amongst it all, and a very quick way to do that is the thing I'm always talking about, the laughter break, where you just, a lot of people, I've got friends who post the most hilarious memes and pictures, etc. And in the absence of that, go forth to YouTube. YouTube is your friend, and just find something that you find funny that makes you laugh. It might be a particular TV show. So Hyacinth Bouquet, for example. Oh my God, Keeping Up Appearances, it's called. And Nan, there's a character called Nan, a bit crass, parental advisory with Nan, but Hyacinth Bouquet is very innocent. But just those always have me laughing my head off. And so this is one is bringing that lightness, bringing that energy into it. Right. Yes, still here, would love a card. Cool. Alrighty. So, okay, so let's start with Coral. And then we will do Neelam, and then Think Tank Thursday for October 2019 is done. Yay! Alrighty, so water. All right, so this is for Coral. Oh yeah, my brain's like, you haven't done. We're going to do an overall card as well for the month. All right, cool. And some Huna. All right. Cool. My brain's like, yeah, I'm just thinking about dinner now. My brain's like, hey, not so fast. Alrighty, so, okay. So Coral, we're going to go with that one that is sticking up there. Go with that one. Okay, let me flick back to that screen so I can see what I'm holding up to you for you. Okay, alrighty. So we've got the lighter side, because we've had Gabriel a few times. We've had the lighter side of Gabriel here. So it says, time for a celebration, exclamation mark, abundant rewards for hard work, release yourself from burdensome situations. A little bit like the card that I just had for K13 in terms of the fun, the lightness, etc. But this feels a bit more, this isn't necessarily make new friends everywhere you go. This is like, who, if I say to you, who's got your back, just think about who comes to mind. It might be one, it might be several. Whoever those people are or that person is, this is going to be a really, really nice time to connect with them. It might even be that you go somewhere out of the ordinary. So for instance, a friend and I, there's a lovely place near where I live called The Grove, and they do the most incredible lunch. It's just like open season, everything from, you know, dining from all over the world. And once you're in there, you can just eat, you know, I've never managed to do it, but you can eat your way, you know, through their wonderful, you know, dishes and the divine dessert tray, etc. But it's set in the most incredible grounds, acres of just, it looks a bit like this actually, green and lush. So this one feels like what you want to do. Let's just say there is somebody that comes to mind, you think, oh my God, we haven't met for ages. And then you both kind of go, where would we love to go? So for us, it's just a day thing, although we are staying overnight at a hotel, but technically it's a day thing. So, just think, where would you both love to go? A complete change of scene and something that feeds your senses. So if you're someone who loves nature, then it will be the lush, it will be the green. If you're someone who loves the water, it might be, you know, nip to Brighton, for example, and walk on the Pebble Beach. So we're not talking, we don't have to make it extravagant, but we have to make it something that is out of the ordinary, that you really, really will enjoy. And it's going to feel, and this adds to the energy. You know, when there's the saying where people say ladies who lunch, there's always a sense with ladies who can lunch, there's an extravagance to them. There's, you know, to have the time and the space and the energy to be sitting around, you know, ladies who lunch, it has a certain energy and connotation, and that's the energy and connotation that you want to bring into it. The question I have for you is, when did you last feel special? So this is about doing something to make yourself feel special. That's really what it's all about. Treating yourself. So you're not an afterthought. You are your first thought on this occasion. What do I want to do? Who do I want to spend the time with? Where do I want to go? And this is putting yourself first and treating yourself, you know, like the star and the energy that you are. And if I were to pick a word, I was going to say this is about honoring yourself. You know, sometimes people, you know, they'll eat on the go and you're rushing here and having to do this. And it's like they're their last thought. And they're looking after other people and doing this and doing that and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, whatever this occasion, whatever this day that you're setting aside is going to be, you want to put yourself first. So that's what I would say about that one. And then Neelam. And Neelam, we're going to pull one of these. Might also, don't know why, pull a money card as well. So we're going to have that one there. And we're going to have I think, that one there. Hello, Michael. Alrighty, so we have the 3 of Michael. So 3 of Michael. It says, release the past. You will grow from this situation. Time heals all wounds. So this is a card where you've, it's not the best saying in the world, but it's the one where you take time to sit and lick your wounds and nurture yourself and take care of yourself. If you've had the sense where you've been running on empty and you have been the container that holds the space for everyone else, but your container is now depleted, your cup is, never mind, is it half full or half empty? It's like, dude, there's hardly nothing left in the cup. So this is one where you really want to take time. It's a different kind of energy to what I've just been saying, where what I was just saying to Coral, it was about feeling special, honoring yourself. This one, I would say, if I were having to put this one into words, I would say it's about you want to nurture yourself. Really, really, really take the time to look after yourself. So you might play that, one of the kind of games and exercises I often get my clients to play is you just say, body, what do you need? What do you desire? And you really want to tune into and listen to your body, listen to your mind. And the way I'm going to put this, it might just be inspired by the words on the card, but you want to also pay attention to those invisible and unseen wounds, because and we had a conversation, there's a whole new initiative called Wellness in Watford. We're still thinking about a name, but that's what we're going with at the moment. And, you know, a few coaches and therapists and trainers, etc., are meeting the third Wednesday of the month, sometimes the fourth Wednesday. It's varied a bit as we all get our diaries sorted, to talk about wellness and talk about emotional health and well-being. And one of the conversations that we've had is somebody hurts their shoulder, their arm, or, you know, you can see that and go, oh my God, you okay? But if your psyche isn't well, or your physical body is feeling under par, unless you know, sometimes people look at you and you look absolutely fine. This is the one of taking the time to go, okay, and you're having a chat with yourself and going, what needs healing? What needs nurturing? What part of me needs looking after? And then, you know, taking the time to do that. And on a practical kind of manifestation, I've just been kind of, I chose one of the money cards as well. Let's just show you this one. I've just been saying, what is this and what is that, and this one starts with a what question. So it says, this is about money purpose. It says, what do you want money for? List everything that comes to mind and use your top 5 and ask, what is the purpose in having fill in the blank? And what does having it get for you or allow you to do? So while you're about it in terms of any physical, spiritual, mental, emotional wounds, what we also want to do is do a little bit of a stock take and a re-evaluation. Actually, the Michael card is sat on a rock, and this one is they're standing on a rock. Let's do it that way. So we want to get that thing where we're going to stop and we're going to do a re-evaluation of, okay, where am I at? What's going on? And let me get clear on my values, because basically what's encompassed in this card, it's a values elicitation exercise that I've just compressed down so people can do the values elicitation that I do during a breakthrough session, but it's encompassed in this card. So this is basically asking you to do a values elicitation around money, such that by the time we get to the end of this year, you are physically and emotionally better. You might not be firing on all cylinders yet, but you're getting there. You're much closer, and you have a sense of clarity about what you want to create for yourself in 2020 and beyond, having cleaned up and got super clear on what you're doing and why you're doing it. So that's what I would say about that. What I'm going to do is just double check. Oh my God, that's cool. Coral says, thank you so much. That was a lovely reading. I'm about to meet up with 2 friends I haven't seen for a while, so we'll remember this in organizing what we do. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. I love that. And yeah, you know, if you just say to someone, where would you love to go? And then there might be consensus if you all have like a memory place, or it might just be you kind of go, let's all just think about it and let's do some research even and just see what comes to mind. So that's really, really cool. I'm glad that it resonates. Right, okay, cool, just making sure. And I'm going to cycle back into that room, check the Q&A. You're most welcome. Fabulous, cool, glad you enjoyed it. Overall card, a blast of Huna, and then thank you and good night, or good morning or good afternoon, depending on which time zone you were in. Alrighty. All right, okay. Oh, I'm going to go with that one that's stuck up straight away. So that one there. Okay, so we've got the Three of Ariel. Kind of a continuation a little bit in terms of what we've just been saying with Coral. Where it's about, you know, where would you love to go? What do you really enjoy doing? So this says, do what you love, exclamation mark. A time of great personal growth in your career or artistic endeavors, working with others in a cooperative manner. So this is like almost like the magician's shed, building room, tool shed, space of creation. It even looks a little bit Harry Potterish in there. So the question I would have for this one, the question I would kind of pose to you is, actually preface that with an extra bit. So the question that comes to mind is, what would you love to create or do? And then the extra bit in brackets is before this year is out. So, and go with what comes to mind. So what would you love to create? What would you love to do? So if you were in your little magical workshop, like you're like the elves getting everything ready now for Christmas, so Santa can put it on the sleigh and ride across the moon and drop it into your chimney. If you were in that magical workspace where you could just create anything, what would it be? What would you love to create? What would you love to do? And is there something you'd really love to create before the end of the year? I'm laughing now because there's the money oracle deck. Actually, let me see if it's in this drawer. Yeah. So there's the money oracle deck, and then there's the coaching cards deck, much smaller. This is only, I think, 45 cards, whereas the money one is 77 cards. But a couple of years ago, because there's a workshop I run at the end of every year, the Mind, Body, Spirit, Energy Fest. So it runs the last weekend in December, coming up to the 10-year anniversary now. And I ran it on a whim because I'd had a really crap year. And I thought, I can't be the only one who's suffering like this. And if other people have the same thing, what do I need? What do I want? And then I took that and turned it into a workshop. And for those of you who've heard me talk about some of the things that happened on that first one, you know, might have heard me mention Amana, where she sat in that room and said, I think I want to go and live and work in Saudi or Dubai, and then retire to America to be with my children. And 6 months later, she'd packed up her stuff and she was living and working out in Saudi and was there for several years. And all of the other things that she talked about in that workshop have come true. She's living them right this minute as we speak. So we had some incredible things happen over the years on that workshop. And at the end of one of them 2 years ago, I said, oh, it'd be really cool to have my own deck of cards here next year. Cool. I said it in the room while I'm packing up. Said it to myself. We were about 6 weeks before running the workshop the following year, and my brain, and I was thinking similar to this, and what do I want to create before the end of the year? My brain was like, didn't you say you'd like to have a deck of cards in that training room this year? I was like, it's too late now. My friend Gina then rang me up. She said, and I just said to her, she said, well, if you can get, this was on the Friday, our Friday coming up to the evening. And she's like, well, she said, I'm sending my stuff to the printers. If you can get it to me by Sunday, I'm sending it all over on Monday morning. I immediately start going, oh no, there's not enough time because I haven't got time today, so I wouldn't be able to start it till tomorrow. And of course, I'm never going to be able to get a whole deck of cards created in a day. I heard myself, so I put down the phone. I'm like, started to reel off the excuses. My brain was like, well, look, we could sit here and talk about it and debate it, and you're going to waste several hours telling me why you can't create a deck of cards in a day, or you could sit the hell down and create the damn cards. And that's exactly what I did. And it was something like 11:44 p.m. on the Sunday night. I hit send and I sent the deck of cards to the printers, and this is them. That's the holding cards, but this is basically them. And I created all of these in terms of coming up with the artwork, coming up with all of the words, etc., etc. It was all done basically in a day. However, the thing they're like, well, dude, you could have done that 18 years ago. It's like, as I was saying earlier, yeah, what's past is past. Where are we now? And so this card, this overall card, if you find yourself coming up with a list of reasons why and excuses, you want to just go, is that really true? Or can I take the energy that I might have put into the excuses and just get on with it? Just get on with it. So that's what I would say about actually, while I've got the coaching cards deck out, let's pull a coaching card as well. Seeing as Money's had a bit of fun, a bit of outing, a bit of an outing. So overall card for the month or whatever period you want to choose ahead. So let's see, I'm going to go with, oh, actually, I'm just going to go with that one that's sticking up. So I'm going to go with that one. And these all look exactly the same on the back as well. Right, what we got. Ooh, okay, we're in with the questions today. So this one's very short and sweet. You'll be glad to know. And a bit like the Money Oracle cards, these are coaching exercises, guided processes, meditations, favorite key ideas that I use with my clients during breakthrough sessions, etc. This one is very simple. Simply is, what does your soul require? And just sit with that question and just see what comes to mind. So what does your soul desire? That's that. Okay, and we're just going to close now with a quick round of Huna, just to get the energy flowing. So if you don't want to receive the Huna, this is where you just press the stop button or swipe off. And if you do, you just give yourself permission to receive it, and you just want to receive it in a way that is kind of for your greatest and highest good, and that resonates with your energy field, with your system, and it works in alignment with who you are and what you're doing. So let's see. Okay, cool. Thank you. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Interesting. So what does your soul desire versus what does your soul require? Yeah, we'll sit with both of those. Okay, interesting indeed. Interesting indeed. All right, so let me do a final quick check in the membership group to make sure I have seen everything I need to see. Let me do a quick refresh there. Think I'm good. And let me just go back to here as well. And also, oh gosh, well, I can't see all of those. It apparently says there's 34 comments on Facebook. I can see about 5. And so Facebook is always really weird in terms of the Facebook lives. I have no idea how it works stuff out, but you don't always see on Facebook Live all the comments and all the messages. But yes, thank you so much. Okay, so yeah, that's fine. You'll catch the replay. It's all there. And what I will do is I'll then simply share this video into the membership group. This is something I do every single month for those of you who are just joining me a bit later. So Tarot Tuesday comes alongside all of the other themes that we use. Hold on. Let's do that. So that's where we were in terms of doing our readings. If you've got any final questions, if you've got any final queries about anything we've touched upon today, much easier in the webinar room. So inside, so let's just do that. So for those of you who registered for the webinar, drop those into the chat, drop those into the Q&A. For those of you on Facebook, put it in, and it might be if it doesn't show up in the next minute or so, I will cycle back and I'll answer those later on. So get your final questions, comments in. Just want to say thank you so much for joining me, for those of you who are not members, and thank you to the members. For this Tarot Tuesday is always a favorite day of the week, so very, very cool. Thank you, and keep in touch. My main website is www.transformationstm.com. so that's TRANCE as in hypnotic trance. I'm also a hypnotherapist. Formations, F for Freddy, so FORMATIONS. TM is in trademark, so www.transformationstm.com. My email address is marilyn@transformationstm.com, and Marilyn is MARILYN. On pretty much all of my social media channels, it's / Marilyn Devonish, and Devonish is DEV for Victor, ONISH, for those of you who may be listening to this as an MP3. And the only one that's different really is Instagram, where it's the NeuroSuccess Coach. But, you know, keep in touch. Feel free to like and share this video if you feel so inclined. That's always fantastic. And if you'd like any information about joining the membership group, you can go to www.marilynsmembershipgroup.eventbrite.com. We're there every single month, you know, doing the Facebook Live readings, the kind of Think Tank Thursdays, and next live session we've got coming up. So if you have a question that you'd like to submit for that, please get your questions in, because if Facebook isn't playing ball, I'm probably going to do it in a similar way to this. And so I might take a couple of your questions and answer those. Questions are wide and varied about life and the universe and everything in between. It's more a consultancy style session. So get your questions in for that. And yeah, thank you to the members for always being wonderful. And for those of you who will join us in the future, we look forward to having you, whether you want to come in for the month, if you want to join for the year, or if you want to be a lifetime member, entirely up to you. And it's always great fun. So until the next Tarot Tuesday, I will see you then. We'll chat in terms of Think Tank Thursday. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you all later. Hold on. I've just said if there are any questions, let me just see if I can get Facebook to play ball and bring them up. Let me just do a quick refresh just to see if I can see what those 30 something comments are. Maybe not right now. All right, I will cycle back. I will look at those, and I'll cycle back. I'll look at those questions, and I will come back in and answer them. So thank you so much for joining us. Really hope you enjoyed it. Even if I wasn't doing a reading for you, I hope that you kind of maybe got some clues and ideas and maybe some food for thought from the other readings. And if you're joining us for Tarot Tuesday next month, I will see you there. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.